This time we'll ask the clerk if she'll call the roll for a quorum, please.
Commissioner Blakemore.
Present.
Commissioner Husky.
Here.
Chairman Whitfield.
Present.
Commissioner Hart.
Here.
Commissioner Schultz.
Present.
All right, tonight's meeting here is this a public hearing, and I'll give some brief comments, and then we'll allow anyone that would like to come up and speak to the board, because the main purpose of this meeting is for the community to be able to speak to the board and staff about the proposed millage rate. So we have on our public hearing the millage rate that is proposed to be set at 7.2 mills in the unincorporated area and 10.293 in the incorporated area. So if you look in the agenda packet on the second page, there's a lot of information here, but I want to bring 3 or 4 very important numbers to your attention. Over on the left-hand side, about a quarter of a way down where it says Walker County, you will see the revenue for the 2021 digest, and then it shows the 2021 millage rate being 8.313 mills. Directly to the far right, the proposed millage rate is for 2022 is 7.20. So that is a reduction, that is a partial rollback, and that is being driven by the increased property values and the increased property assessments. As those values go up, it creates more tax revenue for the county at that 8.313 mills. And so we're able to lower that millage rate on the unincorporated portions of our county down to 7.2 mills. Even with this being a partial rollback, for clarification, it does create additional new tax revenue dollars to the county government for the general fund budget. If you look down about midway through the paper on the right-hand side, it shows the rollback millage rate of 6.752 mills. That's what the number we would have to target if the decision was made to be revenue neutral and to create no new tax revenue from property taxes. So when you look at that difference between 7.2 mills and 6.752 mills, that's 0.448 mills from being a 100% revenue neutral rollback on the unincorporated area. But since we would be generating more revenue, and the way the formula works, the state shows on the calculations here that the projected tax increase for the unincorporated area would be 6.64% based off the unincorporated. Over on the second page, this is the millage rate calculation for the incorporated area. And the incorporated area is going to be our cities, the tax rates that they would pay. And you see these numbers are a little more, and what's really driving that is what's not part of the rollback in the incorporated area for the county, which is the insurance tax rebate that we get. It's primarily call it more or less a franchise fee to insurance companies that they pay into the state, and then it's dispersed to all the cities and all the county in the state as a rebate. We can take that and use that to roll property taxes back. And so that's the difference in those numbers, is we don't roll that back for the city residents because the cities get their portion of the rollback from the insurance tax credit, and this is for the county portion. But we do roll back the sales tax. So when you look at the millage rate in the incorporated area for 2021, it was 11.963 mills. 2022 proposed millage rate is 10.293 mills. So that's a reduction of 1.67 mills is the rollback. Also, that is a partial rollback because it would have to be rolled back to 9.9 mills. You see there in the middle toward the right. The rollback millage rate would be 9.9 mills to be a revenue neutral rollback. So we are actually 0.39 mills higher, being at the 10.93 mills. So you'll see that in the incorporated area, it would show a revenue increase to the general fund of 3.97%. If you look over on the last page of this packet, you have the 5-year history. And on the 5-year history, if you look there at the bottom section, I know there's a lot of numbers here and this form's pretty busy, but this gives the previous 5 years plus the current proposed 2022 year to give us a total of 6 years to look at. So you see when that's into the average, is showing an increase at the very last line in the far right corner of 4.81% is the average there between the incorporated and unincorporated added together. So the revenue, new revenue that's generating is $677,691 in new revenue that would come to the county from property taxes. One thing that I think it's important to look at is, just like you would a investment or your portfolio of investments, is you don't want to look at just 1 year. Look at the historical trends, look at the data. And so that's why the state has the 5-year history published in the paper, is so you can look at the historical data. So if you look back in the first column of 2017, if you look at the third line from the bottom, it says total M&O, which M&O stands for maintenance and operation taxes levied. That's $13,966,654 is how much property taxes was generated in 2017. Fast forward to 2022, the projected proposed revenue would be $14,769,545. So the difference, or the growth over 6 years, is $802,891 total growth over a 6-year time span. So that equals to 5.75%. Now, one thing that's driving everyone's cost of living is the inflation, and we're in about a 9% inflationary market from what we're being told. So looking at our 6-year history here, our government inflation for the burden on the property tax owners is only running 5.75% total. Looking at the Consumer Price Index, searched that on the internet the other day, it's showing that the Consumer Price Index average since 2018 is running about 3.33%. So when you add that at just over a couple of years, you know, you're at over 6%, and you're going to gain 3.33% every year. So our inflation is running at that pace, with this year being over 9%. So we've done a pretty good job of trying to manage this and level this out over time. But I know this gets a little confusing. I know there's a lot of numbers here to look at, and this is not typically something that we talk about or look at on a regular basis, and the millage rate calculation is a little bit complex, and that's why I always encourage people to look at the bottom line and look at the growth over that trend of time and see how things are moving forward. So this is a proposal, and this is a time for the citizens to be able to speak before the board. This is the second of 3 meetings. We had the first public meeting this morning at 8 o'clock at the Walker County Civic Center. That was live streamed on Facebook, so that's recorded on Facebook and also our YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to go back and look or watch that meeting, they can. This one's also being streamed and recorded on Facebook. We will have the third and final public hearing on the millage rate next Thursday, September the 1st, right here in this facility at 7 o'clock. Next Thursday will be a special called meeting for the third. Okay, I'm being told it's at 6:30. I'm sorry, it's at 6:30 next Thursday, September the 1st, will be the third and final hearing. And then at the meeting preceding that, the board will make the decision on setting the millage rate at that time. So at this time, I would like to take a pause, and we would ask anyone that would like to speak or has any comments or questions about the millage, we would want you to come up. So in our next meeting at 7, we have time for public comment on any topic you want to talk about in our 7 o'clock meeting. But this meeting, we've got to keep our comments focused on the millage, the taxes, and so forth. And then you can stay over with us at 7 and talk about any topic you want to at that time. So is anyone here that has any questions, comments, that would like to come up to the podium? We'd give you up to 5 minutes to speak, and we just ask you to state your name and stick to the topic at hand. So is anyone that would like to come up and address the board tonight? Yes, sir, Greg?
I'm Greg McConnell, County Financial Officer, and this is not strictly all to do with millage rate, it also bores on the budget a little bit too. But I've been here like 20 years now, and the prior commissioner refused to ever raise millage rates. Let's have to go and borrow money from TANs, issue bonds, watch our credit rating fall, allow road department equipment to deteriorate and have to be replaced in one lump sum. Could not give employees cost of living raises even. And wage rates were being so low, it encouraged many people to seek employment in other places instead of the county. And we stopped allowing participation inside the benefit plan. Like I say, I've seen a lot of this, and our backing factors, our revenue projectors are iffy things. We have our 3 major streams in the general fund are property tax, sales tax, and the insurance premium tax. Property tax, 13 to 15 million, depending on the setting. Sales tax is approximately 5 million a year. It fluctuates wildly though. And then the insurance premium tax is right at 4 million this coming year. It usually goes up $100,000 or $200,000 a year normally. The other sources of revenue, they jump all over the board. You just can't predict those. I mean, I've been trying for 20 years. If I get within 20%, I'm doing well. And I don't usually do that well. Expenses into the additional strains on the revenue. We've increased our transit service at the weekends. That's going to probably increase our county's direct cost a couple $100,000 a year because the grant's not going to make that difference up. The grant currently is like $350,000. Our last expense was $850,000. That's a $500,000 difference. It has to come from someplace. We lost T-SPLOS. It's not been voted back in. We were getting $4 million a year from T-SPLOS. It's gone. We need that money to pave roads, so we either pave roads or we don't pave roads. Grants. Yeah, there are grants, but normally they have a 20 to 50% match. Most of them tend to be kind of small. We did get those ARPA funds. There's a legal question there. Maybe Mr. Gottlieb can answer it. I understand there was some talk about using it to offset fire department fees. Normally, you cannot use general fund revenue for the fire department because you're getting into the incorporated areas revenues, which is a big no-no with the state. Now, the ARPA funds, when we accepted the grant, we did take $10 million of it and call it general fund revenue offset. So if that makes it a general fund revenue, then it cannot be used for fire department fees. And David, I might discuss that with you tomorrow or something, but.
Yeah, we would need to discuss that.
Payroll, okay. FY21's payroll and benefits was $21,033,000. FY22 year to date, as of 5/8/25, is $20,352,000. We still have a month left to go, so that's probably going to pump it up to around 22.5 probably. You want to do a pay increase of 80 cents an hour. That's going to cost the neighborhood of $900,000. And also the constitutional officers are getting a free gift from Governor Kemp, $5,000 each this next calendar year, which I think is 5 constitutional officers, I believe, not counting you. So actually that's $30,000. So We come down to the fund balance. Our unassigned fund balance as of 9/30/20, which is the last audited number I have, was $17,376,000. I'm estimating revenue over above expense in FY21 to be $6 million. That's a little bit high, but give or take, which gives our total estimated fund balance at as of right now really $23,672,000. Seems like a lot of money. Projected budget expenditures for FY23 are $31 million. The ACCG and also Government Financial Officers Association recommend a 50% reserve of the following year's expenditures, which would be $15 million. That would drop the fund balance down to about right at $8 million. Another consideration on fund balance, we have bonds outstanding right now of $11,630,000. We do have an option, was it FY25 or
24, I think.
FY24? If we can pay those off, at that point in time, it'd be $9,590,000. It would save us over the next, 15 years, $1,005,470. That would be fund balance money too. Okay, we might start increasing the fund balance to get that money up there to pay for it, or continue to pay these interest costs. Defined benefit plan right now, the liability in it is 9/30/20 was right at $3 million. There's been talk about doing something to fix that plan. I have no idea, nobody does right now, what it might cost to fix it. But if it'd be less than $1 million, I'd be very much surprised. Like I say, that's getting y'all's choice whenever we finally get some final numbers on the thing. Okay, now we get to the millage rate, which is what we're supposed to be talking about anyway. Okay, a little bit of a problem with what y'all understand y'all might want to do. The millage rate, the first computation is to get a gross millage rate. And then you roll back the sales tax, and then you roll back the insurance premium tax. In this case, the county can do all the insurance premium or part of the insurance premium. That's a choice. But it's a big complication. That gets to the net millage rate, which means in essence, we cannot come out to the exact, what's the word I'm looking for, the rollback millage rate in both the incorporated and the unincorporated area. To get revenue neutral totally across the board, I figured the millage rate in the unincorporated area to be 6.828 mils, which would actually be a 1.13% increase. And the unincorporated would be a 9.921, which would be a 0.210 increase. And that gets us within 660, where I lost the number, $660 roughly from last year's number. Essentially, I guess that's about all I really have to say on it. I just wanted to bring your attention to some of the expenses, which I don't believe y'all really been fully cognizant of, that we have to look at in the future. Any money we use now, out of the fund balance, out of reserves, most of the expenses are going to increase next year, not go backwards. So where is this money going to come from next year to pay for all these expenses? Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. All right, anyone else have any questions or like to comment concerning the millage?
Yeah,
Yes, sir, please come up if you would. We ask you just to limit your comments to the proposed millage rate or any concerns of budget.
what claims Walker County have over independent private property?
I'm not sure I follow your question.
Well, y'all have to have some kind of claim over, y'all claim y'all can tax private property. What claim do you have on my property in order to be able to tax it? Because if it's not, that's theft or conversion through fraud, because I've not consented to anyone taking anything. I agree to anything being taken from me. So does Walker County not make any claim on independent private property?
Well, this is the way our local government creates
Fine.
revenue to
Yes or no, do
cover
y'all make a
the
claim
government.
on private property? Just make it clear, do you make a claim on my private property?
We assess a value.
Yes or no question. It's
So-
not complicated. Do
Well,
y'all make a claim on my property?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
A claim.
Claim.
You make
What
a
are you
claim.
talking about a claim?
Is that property yours? Is it property of Walker County? Or is it my property?
It is your property.
Okay, then where can y'all claim to tax me on my property? Has no commercial gains coming from it? No taxable revenue coming out of that property? Or do y'all have a claim to tax my private property? I've seen also down there as tax assessors, y'all want to register it as private property. Seems y'all committing fraud down there, not allowing it to be listed as what it is in order to tax it. So what claim does Walker County, or you, anybody wants to make a claim on that property? Who makes a claim on my property?
Our property's not commercial, and y'all are trying to list it as a commercial property.
That's what I'm trying to understand here, so you see.
No, residential is a commercial
This
listing.
property that's being taxed as, or claimed
No,
as
y'all are
commercial?
taxing our private property. Private property is non-taxable. I've not agreed to it being taxed, and this taxation doesn't represent me in any way. I have no children in your school, do not depend on any services this county offers.
When you drive down the county roads.
Yeah, and I also pay for that every time I put a cent of fuel in my tank too, don't I? Without paying, yeah, and there's a direct fuel tax comes right out of your fuel. I love that one.
Yeah.
I pay more fuel tax than probably most y'all do here. I got a truck just about 8 miles a
I don't
gallon.
know about that, but I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
So that's, no, nobody here is making a claim on my property.
David, would you, can you help, I'm not understanding this.
It's not a hard question. You make a claim like, I have a truck. Somebody wants to say that's their truck. I want to say, no, that's my truck. That'd be making a claim, right? I claim that's my
I don't
truck.
claim your property just like you don't claim mine.
No, exactly.
So-
But I'm not trying to take nothing from you and your
I'm not trying to
property.
take anything from you, so
And y'all are
just
taking-
trying to understand what the problem.
What's happening with taxation? How you paid? By the money it's taken from the people through threat and duress? Because if you don't pay that property tax, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna come do a tax forfeiture on the house, won't you? No?
I don't.
No, y'all don't do tax sales because people don't pay their taxes, so y'all forcing people to pay these taxes under threat and duress.
Nobody, I guess you're right, when everybody.
I'm absolutely right.
Share, and then somebody doesn't, I'd say that the tax assessor's office probably is the ones that handles that.
Tax commissioner.
Commissioner's office, we don't, the board of commissioners doesn't do that. But I don't know, I'm still not understanding about the claim, that's what.
It's a claim. If nobody makes any claim on my property, it is straight up theft to take anything from me over that property. That'd be like a renter not paying his rent. You know, I don't rent my property. It's paid for. I own that property. I'm not obligated to pay nobody nothing to maintain my property and to live on my property. For schools, fire department, police, for y'all. I don't even need y'all, so there's no reason for the money to be stolen from me, for my labor, to pay y'all's salary. When none of y'all represent any of us correctly, and ain't no man can represent another man anyhow. How can you be me?
I ain't.
You can't, neither can you, neither can you, neither can you. So y'all have no purpose in my life, so why am I being stolen from to support y'all?
I don't have an answer, I don't.
That's what I
understand.
figured.
I don't understand what your
It's
rationale
not,
is.
it's not
I don't
far-fetched, it's
understand.
very simple.
No, it's really not. I don't understand what's the part about the
So,
claim.
okay,
when put the
you owe me
claim-
$100 every year you drive your truck on this road. I'm doing the same thing y'all doing. You even brought it up, I drive on these roads, so you
Sure,
claim you
sure.
been on this road, you got
Sure.
some right to take something from me?
No, that's what that's part of the county government, that's how we have to, that's the revenue, part of the revenue, that we maintain
There's
your
multiple
roads
other
for
forms.
safety and
There's
those.
other ways to get this revenue y'all need, other than taxing private property, the way it's meant to be, you know, tariffs on these commercial businesses
Mm-hmm.
that's out there here, all their profits and income, that's taxable, not my private property. And if y'all used your money correctly in the way it should be and stay within budgets, the money these corporations bring in would be suffice to where you wouldn't feel to take the money from the people.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, sir.
So none of y'all make a claim then.
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, no, but okay, that's great. So keep stealing from me, because now it's a crime.
Remember
Nobody
that
makes a claim.
silence is consent, y'all. Step up for your honors.
Yeah, because it's by consent and will. of the
Thank you, your
people.
time is up. Thank you.
Georgia Constitution.
Anyone else like to speak tonight? Anyone else? Okay, we're going to then move, if the board members have any comments that they'd like to make about the millage. It's part of our agenda as well. The last part is the commissioner comments on the millage. Any commissioner like to add any additional comments at this time?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, so at this time, we'll be moving to close this portion of our meeting of the public hearing. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hart. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Blakemore. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. This portion of our meeting is closed out. We're going to take about a 3-4 minute recess. I know we've got some guests in the foyer that's coming in for a special presentation here in a few minutes. So let's take about 5 minutes and we'll transition this meeting to a regular meeting and let our guests in the hallway come on in.